Hello guys and welcome to a quick demo of minimal API in C Sharp. But before we start with the actual code, let's have a quick overview of what is .NET Core, ASP.NET Core, and C Sharp. Let us begin with the misconceptions of .NET Core or C Sharp, because in the real world, people who saying bad things about it are those that actually haven't used it seriously. They say it only runs in Windows platforms, only for desktop applications. It's proprietary, it's Microsoft, so it must be closed source technology. It's only useful in business applications, not for startup, only for enterprise apps, not free and requires a license. Heavy utilization of CPU and RAM requires a Visual Studio professional to code, and it has a very steep learning curve or hard to learn. So these are a few of the things that I gathered from my real friends, the reason why they don't want to use C Sharp or .NET Core. So what is the .NET Core? .NET Core is a free cross-platform open source developer platform for building many different types of applications. So with .NET Core, you can also use multiple languages such as VB, uh, F Sharp, and C Sharp. And you can also use a lot of editors and libraries to build the following applications: web applications, mobile apps, desktop apps, microservices, cloud, machine learning, game development, and Internet of Things. So what is ASP.NET Core? ASP.NET Core is an open source and cross-platform framework for building modern cloud-based internet-connected applications such as web apps, IoT apps, and mobile backends. ASP.NET Core runs on .NET Core. So ASP.NET Core is extremely fast. Based on the website of Tech Empower, .NET can host up to 7 million requests per second compared to Java Servlet, which is 2.17 million per second, and Node.js, which is 600,000 requests per second. If you want to know more about the test, you can go to these two links below. So what is C Sharp? C Sharp is a general purpose multi-paradigm programming language. So it means it encompasses the following: static typing, strong typing, lexical scope, imperative, declarative, functional, generic, object-oriented, and component-oriented. Okay, here are some facts about C Sharp. C Sharp was created by Anders Hejlsberg, who is the original author of Turbo Pascal. He is also the chief architect of Delphi and a core developer of TypeScript. He is not the creator of TypeScript because it's a Microsoft team composed of 13 members. Can also be used in embedded systems using the .NET Nano framework. And three examples on the real world would be the famous Unity 3D gaming software. You probably heard of Pokemon Consumer Super Mario Run, Event Store DB, which is an event sourcing database, and Windows 10 GUI. Okay, time for our minimal API demo. And if you want to follow the steps, or you have to install two things. First would be the .NET Core SDK 6.0 or higher. You can download it from the Microsoft website. And any text or code editor you have. For this demo, I will be using Visual Studio Code. So the .NET SDK that we have just downloaded should also install the .NET command line interface. To verify it was installed correctly, let us issue the command .NET dash dash version. They should display the version 6.0. So the quickest way to create a .NET Core project is by running the command uh, .NET New, which allows us to create .NET projects using boilerplates. But first, let's take a quick look on the available templates by typing .NET New dash dash list. As you can see, there's plenty of options to choose from. But for this demo, let us use the console app. So let's type .NET New console. This template should create two files. One is the project file and one is the main entry point of our application. To build the project is you need the .NET build, and if you want to run it, this command will build and then run. So let's do that .NET run. So first It's building and now it has run. So as you can see, hello world on our console app. Now that we have our console up and running, we can easily convert this to a web API. If we open up the project file, we see that the console app is using the SDK, Microsoft.NET SDK. For our web API, we will use the web SDK. So let's update this to that web. And we can then remove this output type because we will be running our application through a web server. And let's go to our entry point. First, let's create the app by saying web application that create builder, and then we pass the arguments from the command line and we call build. This will return to us the web host. And let's run the app by simply calling app.run. And for this, we will create our first HTTP GET endpoint by saying app.map get, which is HTTP GET. If you want a post method, you would need map post and map put for puts and so on and so forth. So the first parameter would be the route path, which is uh, let's say for this demo is the root URL, and then we will pass in the lambda expression or the anonymous function as the second parameter. So let's create a function that just returns hello world. Save that file, and then all we need to do is again run our app, say .NET run. So based on the console um, log, we are seeing localhost 5000. So let's go visit that link. And here we are seeing our first hello world. In Asp Net Core, dependency injection comes out of the box. So let me show that on our next exercise. First, let's create a record called customer. Record in C# is an immutable class. Let's have a property called GUID, ID with a type GUID or UUID, and an property called name with a type string. And let's create an interface for our service. We call it iCustomerService, which has a method that returns customer. And this is a get property. And we implement customer service from iCustomer. And let's say we return customer and current. And for this, we just return a new instance with GUID.new GUID and a name. Now to inject our service .NET Core, first we need to get a hold of the builder. So let's create first a builder, and then our app will be builder build. From here, once you have the builder, you can now configure the DI container calling services and add transient customer service with the implementation of your customer service. And in our get endpoint, we can inject the service by simply calling the type of service you want. And for this, let's just call customer service dot current. So that's our basic injection. And let's see what do we get when we run the API. So let's visit and get this URL. And now, as you can see, it returns the object, the record customer with ID and name properties. Now I'm going to show you how to use a library from a package manager. First, let's go to the Nuget.org. Nuget is the package manager for .NET. So for this demo, let's add Swagger. So copy that command line and then add that on your project. And if you notice here, it added the reference for the Nuget package. And now let's configure our builder to add endpoints API Explorer, which means this will make our API endpoints metadata discoverable. And we also register the services for Swagger. Then we tell our app to use the Swagger as well as we use the Swagger UI. Now let's run the app again. Visit the site and navigate to the Swagger endpoint. As you can see, it generated the schema for the customer and the get endpoint. So let's try it out and execute this, and it will give the response type of a customer. .NET also offers a hot reload functionality. So to do that, we just issue a different command called .NET Watch. As you can see on the console, it says hot reload enabled. Control Shift R to restart. So let's visit this API again, and you can see the name Mark Libres. If we do the changes without and just save the file, you'll notice that it has detected a change and did a hot reload. So if you go and just reload your app, it now has the updated value. And that wraps up our quick demo for C# Minimal API. Thank you guys for attending this session, and let me know if you have any questions.